Okay, thank you, Chuck. Now it's about the trees, a very interesting story and a little bit different twist on economic development. David Quinn, he's CFD as well, and he is the Executive Director of the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation in Bastrop, Texas.
2011, August 28th, I drive into Bastrop, Texas for the first time as economic developer. I had a couch, a chair, a TV, and a bed. My wife wasn't coming yet. She still had kids in school. Took a vacation after the first week of Labor Day weekend. Went on vacation with the family. And drove into Bastrop the second time, a week to the day later, to the next scene which is coming up here. It was one of the worst wildfires in Texas history. 1,694 homes lost, 34,000 acres. Economic developer, first time, didn't know anybody. Driving in, my town's on fire. I drove to the Emergency Operations Center, was at the convention center. Fought my way in. I'd been there a week, nobody knew who I was. They weren't sure if I should be in or not. Showed my city badge, I got in. Found the public information officer and said, how can I help? I did this in another life in another town. He said, do you know anything about social media? And I said, a little bit. And so he gave me the reins to the social media feeds for the wildfire and the emergency response team. And what I can only classify as probably the most impactful thing I've ever had happen to me in my entire life unfold. We were responsible for posting every afternoon a list of homes that had been destroyed, confirmed homes, because the way the wildfire worked, you would go through an area and you would think the home was safe, but then the embers would blow back, and the home that was there one day would be gone the next. Some that survived one day didn't survive the next. And so we would post lists out on the doors of the convention center, and people would come. Like the grades in school, you would look to see if people passed. People would be looking to see if their address was there. And if they found themselves on the list, they knew they lost everything. At that moment, they would collapse and they would erase. And this happened over and over again, days and days, and we watched this happen. But it was incredible because at the same time, there was just this agony watching. The next day, I would come to work, and we'd be in the line, and you would see the person who lost their home the day before. And they're feeding or serving water or giving something and working the shelters. And you would say, what are you doing here? You've lost everything. And to have them look at you and say, well, what good does sitting in the hotel crying do? I'm here to help. People who are fighting the fire lost their homes and they're still out there fighting. And so I began to really move to the right place. But then as more and more homes got lost, as an economic developer, we began to work. All these homes were, we've lost our lost homes. That's what we're known for. People are losing their homes and we're a bedroom community to Austin. What if they move away? As an economic developer who moved into Bastrop with a lot of promise next to Austin's growing metro, to have this happen, suddenly I'm faced with, what if they leave? The trees. Everybody was worried about the trees and we lost them. And so, as the days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, I had the opportunity to ask people. And at the first they were shocked. They didn't know what they were going to do. They were asked by the news media. But then, as time went on, and there was some time to kind of think about, are they going to stay or are they going to go? We would be in social circles at barbecues or chamber events or church services, and we would ask them, why are you, have you made a decision yet? If you said yes, I would ask, why? Why are you staying? No offense, but is it our great schools? Is it our awesome park? Is it the cool convention center we just built? Is it the public library that we spent all the money on? Is it the streets, the water, the sewer? What's keeping you here? You don't have to be here. You can live in Austin, work in Austin. It doesn't matter that you live in Bastrop. And we don't have the trees anymore. It's not the beautiful Lost Pines forest. What is it? It was amazing. They would point across the room and say, well, because they're staying. And they're staying. My neighbor's staying. They're rebuilding. I can't leave them to deal with this by themselves. The Mom's Club. I've met them. I can't leave them. They're staying. So I began to figure out it's not about the trees. It wasn't about the stuff that we, as economic developers, build. We got to build the best parks. We got to build the best library. We got to build the best infrastructure. Because it's not about that. It's not just about that. That's the bait on the hook. That's what gets people into your community, right? That's the flashy thing that gets them there. But what gets them to stay there is the community that they build around that infrastructure. So I think as economic developers, if we just worry about the infrastructure, we've only done part of the job. Our job as economic developers is to build a community around the infrastructure we work so hard to get in place and allow them to decide what to build and to make it a home. Thank you very much. My name is Dave Quinn. I'm from Bastrop, Texas.